All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian McLogan, and this is Open Live Q&A. And welcome to my not really new studio, but it's a little bit of a different vibe here with the studio. So you can see one of the things that I was very excited about was actually to get my lockers in there, because obviously they serve a great purpose. One, they take me back to my high school days, and they kind of give a little bit more of that educational feel. And then yeah, there's basically the same backdrop that I have. So yeah, I'm excited to let you guys know about it. It's the same room and studio that I've been in from on there. Why is this showing me two? That's really weird. Oh, okay. Whatever. But yeah, so it's very, very similar to everything I guys had, but it's still a little work in progress. There's still a lot of things I need to go through, but hopefully you guys like it. And if you don't, let me know. If you do, let me know. And I'm definitely looking into filling some more things up. So definitely would love to hear any more further suggestions from here. But these are just kind of some of the things that I wanted to get in with you guys. Why is that showing up? There you go. All right, get that in there. So, well, I want to definitely say welcome. Why is that going through? All right. Welcome, Jelly Fan and Elena. Good to see you on here. Farham and Anwar and Christy, thank you so much. Angel, hello. Nikisha and Gonzalo. Good to have all of you here. It's year 2050, my friends. Farham, maybe it is. We will go ahead and get there. So, the cool thing about actually doing a little live stream like this, guys, is a lot of the questions, or a lot of times on my Q&A that I go every Sunday night, if this is your first live stream, that usually we'll go through some questions and kind of talk about usually a topic. But in this scenario, we don't really have anything else except letting you guys see my studio. So there's really nothing much that I can have. I was going to go and use my phone, but obviously once I created my studio, I was like, everything is still like all around here. But yeah, I did want to let you guys know that, so you can see the picture of the family, a little bit of math books, which I actually have a ton more math books over here. So don't worry about that. Eventually I'll kind of get a little behind the scenes so you guys can actually see everything through the studio. But this video is just, for that live stream. And then obviously the lockers and the desk is just packed with so much stuff that I need. So even though it is a studio, it really is just serving a purpose of stuff like that. And my Stay Curious is one of those things that I want to always have you guys remember, is to, have that curiosity whenever you are learning math. But yeah, so just let you guys know, I do have some questions that have been pre-submitted to me, and we'll go ahead and go over those questions. And if you have not submitted a question over to me, you guys can see in the chat, there is a pinned comment where you guys can go ahead and submit your questions, and I go ahead and answer them each and every Sunday night, as well as a Discord server where you guys can go ahead and post questions in there as well and get your questions answered just from students just like you. And I think it's a great opportunity to either get help in your math or help other students with math as you're going through the year. Also, I want to let you guys know that there is, I think I actually still kept it in there, my pre-calculus course is also available. So if you are a student that is taking pre-calculus and you're kind of getting stuck, or maybe just want some extra resources to make sure that you are doing the best you can, then I obviously I have that in the description as well that you guys can go ahead and check out, and maybe that can be beneficial from you as well. But I will go ahead and probably answer some questions maybe for the next, where's the thing? I'll take on definitely some questions that you guys have, and then into the live chat, but then anything else after that, we'll kind of get through the math that I have, and then I'll answer any other additional questions you guys have. All right, so let's go and check out. Danielle said, I just want to thank you. You've helped me so much through geometry and college algebra. Well, you are very welcome, Danielle. Danny says, I need help with inverse trig, exponential. Actually, let me go and, why did I do that? All right, let's go and take a little questions over here. Danny says, I need help with inverse trig, exponential, log. I'm so curious. Please help. I'm forever grateful. Well, Danny, you need to go ahead and submit your questions. Again, I think you can go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. And go ahead and submit your questions there if you, but that is going to be for my Sunday streams. Obviously, if you need something that's more help, then go ahead and definitely check out the Discord server, which is also there, or which is also in the link. Excuse me. And then last but not least, I would say also if you're taking pre-calculus, you can also check out my course from on there. And thank you so much, Chrissy. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you for helping me tutor on Discord. It's inspired me to make a major in mathematics. Well, awesome. Well, yeah, I think it's very, very important that you guys understand that, learning math or being successful, I won't say successful in math, but I think the better like understanding with math comes with that ability to be able to teach people and help people. And, that's the reason why I wanted to become a teacher, was that ability to help students get a better understanding of, the math that they're learning and realize that they could be successful. And I think it's an amazing feeling to be able to help students out with that. I think it's also an amazing feeling, the understanding that you get by actually teaching a concept. I tell people I got an A in pre-calculus when I was in college, but then I taught pre-calculus for many years in high school, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know any of this stuff, and I got an A, right? So, it's great for good grades, but good grades only kind of tell you so much of actually what you know and what you've achieved, right? So, I think it's always great to go for grades, but they don't always tell the whole story for everything. And again, I worked really hard for that A. I really did in pre-calculus. I felt like I knew everything I needed to know for that course. But again, as I mentioned, once you have to teach it and go through there's a whole level of different understanding that you have to go through. And Baldu, you're very, very welcome. Happy to be able to help you out. I'm midterm for pre-calculus. I am looking for inverse trig functions video. You just go ahead and check my channel. I have a ton of videos on inverse trig functions. Velocity is a high school student or even later. How do you feel to deal with procrastination? I feel like most of my anxiety is not actually created by curriculum mastery, but yeah, I think it definitely is. And I think actually in a couple streams ago, I talked about like motivation, like how to stay motivated. And I think that very much like relates with, I'd say that very much relates to the, that definitely very much relates with the procrastination. So I would go and check out that stream as I kind of highlight some things for you. Well, thank you so much, Miles. And thank you. How your studying looks? Well, thank you, Asphalt. I greatly appreciate that. Let's see. What else do we have on from there? Dwight says, do I do chemistry? No, I do not do any chemistry. And, early in India. That's awesome. It's weird. It's coming in through here, but I'm coming in for so much faster on this. That's so weird. Okay. Kyle says, if you don't do good in pre-calc, will you do poor in calculus? Because I did well in algebra 1, 2, but I don't remember anything from pre-algebra. Yeah, I think it's kind of a loaded question. It's really difficult to kind of see how you're going to be able to do from on there. So I would definitely say pre-calculus. The reason why pre-calculus a lot of times gets that name is because, yeah, it does go through a lot of variations to help prepare you for the curriculum, for the calculus curriculum. But again, like you can struggle in a course and you can definitely catch up a lot of the stuff that you're supposed to learn in pre-calculus. You can catch up that stuff for calculus. So I wouldn't say that like, hey, if you don't get a certain grade that you cannot be successful, don't ever think that way. But you do got to realize there are things that you missed that you need to know to be successful. So definitely want to keep that in mind. Manoff says, all right, submit a question. Will you go through on live stream? I would try to. Usually I don't. We'll see how long it takes me to get through these questions. But if you stay on the stream and then you ask me again after I'm gone through these questions, I'll see about being able to open up to. And again, I even all the questions that get submitted to me, I can't answer every single question, but I'll definitely go ahead and do my best. And if I can't answer a question, I'll give you a little realize or let you know from on there. But yeah, I would definitely say just remind me after I'm done with the questions. I think I only have like 10 to go through. And then we'll talk about that. Velocity, I was talking about the motivation. I think with like maybe last stream or 2 streams ago, I said how to stay motivated. I think that like ties right into procrastination. So I would definitely check that out. I think algebra 2 is, I took integrated math. So I never actually took a pure geometry or a pure algebra 2 course. Well, hello, Samuel. Shout out. All right. See, that's so weird. Chrissy, I saw like, this is like way behind. Or maybe not. I don't know. Chris says, how do you know if you're overstudying? I tend to study too much and I don't know until it gets to me that I am. Yeah, I think I think, obviously I played sports a lot, like all through high school. And I think that, I think one of the things that I like to always relate with, with studying is kind of the same thing with sports. Like as you are preparing for a meet or a competition or an event or, whatever may be the case, you don't want to have like your strongest practice right before the event, right? You want to be kind of like, you kind of want to taper down into that. And I think kind of overstudying is the exact same thing. I mean, your brain is, I'm assuming I correct me, I don't like a muscle, like you got to treat it the exact same way, right? So you don't want to be cramming and doing all this heavy lifting and heavy work all the way up to your exam. Now, what you do want to do is, again, like the same thing. If you want to, or, if you want to do, if you want to be nice, do as many push-ups, let's just say a thing, you don't want to do like 100 push-ups and then be like, all right, I'm getting smart. Like I got stronger. No, you want to do like 10 push-ups every single day. Right. And that's going to build you up. And the same thing with studying. Start early and do little chunks. And then what you want to do is obviously you want to have those longer cram sessions, but then typically anywhere from like, 5 to 3 days ahead of your event, you want to start slowing down, because by the time you get up to your test, you want to treat it as like that competition, that event where you are slowly just reviewing your notes, reviewing some of the problems, but you're really kind of focusing on getting yourself prepared for your test. You're getting that mental preparation. And I think, Chrissy, that's the point where you want to be at. If you're trying to do your 100 push-ups, to prepare for your test, or to prepare for the push-up competition the night before, you're not going to be ready. It's not going to help you out. I don't know if that analogy helped out at all, but hopefully that kind of made some sense. Well, thank you, BP. I greatly appreciate that. And then y'all, so you're basically my teacher for the last 2 years. I'm in college for nursing, and I'm still referencing your videos because I'm online and I need extra help. Well, you are very welcome, Danielle. Thank you so much from that. And I'm very happy to have stepped in to help you out with your teaching, or being as your teacher. All right. I'm not going to say I would say you're going to be smart. You already are smart. You have everything you need. You just got to put in the work, and you got to, put in the work, ask questions when you don't, when you get stuck, right? And be consistent, right? I mean, it's really a simple formula like that. There's going to be, maybe if you feel like maybe if you're not smart, the reason why you might have typed that in, I don't know. But if you feel like you're not smart, then go back through some of the material that you need. Make sure you're doing extra work to fill in some of those gaps, right? With a lot of students have come from distance learning, they did not get prepared for the next school year the way that they felt they should have been, or maybe their teachers even expect for them to be done. So you got to realize there's a little bit more effort that's going to need to be done in that case for you to be prepared. So that's what I would definitely say this. And they said, do you box or do combat sports? No, I played rugby for many years. That's about as contact sports as I did after college, but that was about it. All right, guys, let's get into some of the math questions. And then what I'll do is we'll cover them. I think I got like 10 questions to go through. And then what I'm going to do is after the 10 questions, I will go back into the chat with you guys. And if you guys have any questions in from there, I'll be more than happy to answer them. If this is your first stream and you still do not know how to submit a question into me, you can just go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. And there you can go ahead and submit a question that I answer each and every Sunday night at 9 p.m. When I go live. However, I don't answer every single question because I can't answer every single question that gets submitted on my live stream. So therefore, also, if you need help that's a little bit more immediate, I would definitely recommend that you go to the Discord server, which is also pinned in the chat. So if you go and take a look at the chat, you'll see a pinned message. Go ahead and click on that, and you'll see there is a Discord server link. I would highly recommend you go ahead and take a look at that. And if you are taking pre-calculus, vetters, maybe you might be or maybe not. But yeah, and then also the other thing I'm offering as far as some additional help for you guys is, I forgot this. Some additional help that I am offering for you guys is the to go ahead and my pre-calculus course that you guys can go ahead and join. Now, one thing I want to let you guys know of, this is actually something I'll announce to you guys now, because I did actually send out an email, and if anybody reads my emails that I do send out on Sunday night, I did make a reference that I am actually giving away a free tutoring session to anybody that wants to get some tutoring from me. So I know not everybody needs to get some tutoring, but some people may benefit and they're like, hey, I need, I'll take that free tutoring if I can win. So it's pretty simple process. And if you are not on the list and you'd like for me to send out my Sunday email, all you simply need to do is just subscribe to my kind of news list. You can do that by submitting a question. You can do that by checking out my pre-calculus course, any one of those things where you're submitting your email. I just sent an email out kind of talking about the weeks, what I'm basically doing for that week, as far as either a video or even my live stream. Typically it's a lot of been about my live streams. But one of the things I did mention into that, but if there's anything that's kind of updated, I always put it in the email as well before I kind of talk about it on the live stream. So if you always kind of want to know what are some special things that are going on, those are going to be put in the email. So one thing I did mention is because of the YouTube members that have been supporting me on YouTube, I'm able to go ahead and create basically I'm going to do this every week and be able to pick a lucky student to tutor. And so in the email, what I did was say, and the comment section, I did this for my pre-calculus course. For those of you that were following my live streams for pre-calculus, basically what I did was, basically what I did is I gave you guys like a hashtag, and once the live stream was over, I said, hey, if you go ahead and post a comment with this hashtag, then I will go ahead, the next live stream, I will select a winner, and those people got free access to my pre-calculus course. So that's what I did for that. And I was like, that's a great idea to do for the tutoring. So what I did is I'm not going to do it for every live stream. It's different. So please make sure you're paying attention. And that's what I'm saying, get on the email list, because if you're just going to randomly be typing in the different hashtag on the or if you're going to type in the hashtag on every comment, you're just kind of wasting your time, because it is going to change platforms and it will change, obviously, directions. But the first one was, please don't do it now, because this is a live chat. So we don't want to type anything in the live chat, because the competition, the random thing does not take anything from live chat. So please do not type it into the live chat. However, after this live stream is done and it is recorded, you can go ahead and type a regular YouTube comment on the video and just go ahead and do hashtag math help. And what I'll do is next week, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and select a winner to go ahead and get a free tutoring session for myself. Okay. So again, please do not type it into this live chat, because you're just wasting your time. All right. But once this live stream is over with, you can go ahead and definitely type it in below, and we'll go ahead and select a winner from there. All right. Let me just get a couple more questions from on here. Just a couple before I have this. What do you do if you can't find any worksheets for my math lessons and upcoming quiz? I would go online and find some. There's a ton of free examples that are out there. So, or go and look at the book. Take a look at the back of the book. You're definitely good from there. Velocity says, my current high school plan includes taking AP Calculus in 11th grade. Would you recommend me change anything around? I would talk to your guidance counselor and your parents. It really just kind of depends on what you want to do. But I had a lot of students in AP Calculus in junior and senior year. And I think it really just depends on where you stand, what, major you want to go to, what college you want to go to, and everything like that. Like, do they accept would they accept it? Do you need to get a 5, right? Like there's so many variables on there. Definitely talk to your counselor, talk to your math teacher as well. Daniel says, is there any studying tips that work specifically for practicing and mastering math skills? Yeah, I think just, is there any studying tips that work specifically in practice? I mean, I think the main thing is like, you want to do math, like when you're trying to master like a certain math skill, I'd recommend trying to do more examples. Just don't do the bare minimum. Like I think it's very helpful to do them and then come back to them. Right. And so a lot of times I would always do spiral reviews with my students, like after we covered it a week, do some more examples of it. Right. And maybe in a month later, try some more examples, trying to always keep them fresh. That's going to help that brain really build up that understanding and the process of what you're doing. But if you just do it once and then forget about it and do well on the one quiz or test you had it, and then you're going to at the end of the year, try to remember it, it's going to take a lot more work for you to get back to where you were. So trying to always keep that fresh, I think, is important. And Verders, best of luck. Can you tell us more about you? You always cater to an A's, but it'll be cool to learn more about you. Sure to let. I mean, I definitely have some other live streams as far as who is Brian McLogan. And then I do have some on my story. I got D's and F's, but I definitely will be adding a little bit. I can definitely add in some more things about that as well. But so yeah, that is a great point. I will continue doing that as well. And Shania, thank you so much. I'm grateful to have you on. Anwar, how old are you? I am 37 years old. So Jadon Perry, God bless. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. I'm very happy to be able to help. Well, thank you, YG. And much love, Asaya. Thank you. Can you explain precalculus? I noticed, but I want you to explain it. It's basically algebra 2 and trigonometry. If you want to do a quick little nutshell. Besides that, I do have a course that kind of goes through a lot of details. I also have a preparing for precalculus course, which is absolutely free. If you want to take that as well, because the precalculus course is a paid course, but the getting ready for precalculus will kind of get you prepared for what is in precalculus, if that is of interest to you, and not the paid version. All right. Good job, Samuel. Okay, I'm just trying to get through these, and you're very welcome, Matt. Yes, Carson is amazing in the Discord. He is doing a great job. And how says Brian, I'm PhD teacher working with Dave's kids. You're tutoring. Well, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. I have been a teacher in the classroom for 14 years, and I stepped away for the first time this year. And Richard says, "You're awesome. Are you happier since leaving your job?" I think it's all different. It's odd. I don't really know how to say it. I think it's, I think one of the things that I definitely miss teaching. I definitely miss students. I definitely miss the rhythm, the routine, but it also feels like teaching, I wouldn't say teaching left me, but like the teaching that I miss is not there anymore anyways. So it's kind of like and then part of that is COVID, and part of that has just been the natural progression and transition of how education has kind of evolved. So it's kind of a little bit empty feeling, it's like I miss the education, I miss teaching, I miss being inside the classroom, but I'm also at a different place now. I have 3 young children. I have a lot going on, whereas I used to put in so much time before and after school. Like, I'm limited now on how much I can do in my evenings. So it's just different, but I am happy to not, know that, oh crap, I have to go to work tomorrow. Even though I wake up actually earlier than I usually do, even when I'm teaching. Because then I'm still working a lot, working on YouTube and everything else. So there's still a lot of work and downtime, but it is nice to a little bit have that flexibility, I would say, because teaching was always tough with the the flexibility. Yes, there's a lot of days, off, as a lot of people like to mention, but it's really not flexible. It's not flexible to take time off, or just to leave, if I have something come up. So that was always a tough thing that I would say is the one benefit. But I think the natural relationship with the students is the one thing, and that's why I want to do the tutoring, because I love talking to students and helping people out with their math, and I love these live streams. But again, I don't see you guys, right? You only see me, and so that's why I want to do these tutoring, so I can kind of that's a way for me to still get a little help, right? Or be able to help people out. And I do some group tutoring, inside of my course. But I thought this was a great opportunity to, have some free tutoring opportunities. So, thanks, Redhuff. I appreciate it. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on the school district where you're at. You can definitely just look at Bethany County, and they should have something on there. And you're very welcome, Thomas. Kaylin, if you go and take a look at the description, I believe. I don't think actually I put in that new one. That's... Dang it. I got to put in that new one. If you just go to Brian McLogan, if you go to brianmclogan.com/precalc, I'll type it in there again so you have this. That will take you to the stuff right there. And actually, I gotta update my stuff because actually I had the old one in there for as well, and I didn't update that. So thank you so much for that. I know they're really cool. I actually looked a lot of times on Facebook Marketplace, and every single one I had was either they were gone so quickly, or they're gone so quickly, or they're just really, really banged up. So I actually ended up and I looked at online retailers, school discount places. I looked everywhere, but this set was actually from Wayfair. It was actually a little bit banged up from out there, so I was able to get a discount on them because there was some bumps and bruises. I'm like, well, I don't care. It's just in my background, right? So it worked perfect for me. But yeah, so they have some scratches and some bends and stuff like that, but it's all I needed. So it worked for me. All right. Oh yeah, Brian Amanda, the principal announced something about you. Well, you might have to DM me on Discord. I am unaware of anything like that. So DM me on Discord if you want. Thank you, Brett F. What is your opinion of the school system? Do you think it's, oh man, you guys keep on getting into good questions. We'll get to the math. All right, 9:30 guys. I got to get to this math though. And then I'll get to any other question you guys have. I'm so sorry. People keep on asking me questions and I love answering them. So yes, I know I'm a talker. I am going to get to the questions. I said at 9:30. So let me just give this. Do you know Beller High School in Texas? No, I am unaware. Sorry. All right. Just math. That was it. Okay. Isaac, I do not know any private tutoring, so that's why I'm only doing, I only offer free tutoring. So if that's basically it. The only thing I do offer is a group tutoring inside of my course. Yeah, that's probably it. That was my costume for a very, very long time. You're very welcome, Marquez. And yes, I have Discord. Go ahead and take a look at the link and we'll get to there. All right, guys, I have to go ahead and do some math, and to make sure we keep these moderators off, I am going to change this over to, oh, it's only for subscribers. It was already on subscribers. Oh, I was going to have this for anyone. Oh, well, thank you so much, subscribers, for joining on the chat. No wonder everything was a little bit down. I thought I changed this, but either way, cool. Well, I meant that for anybody. So anyways, well, thank you all for joining and subscribing and betting in on there. I greatly appreciate it. All right. So let's go into get into some of the math. Enter full screen. There we go. All right. There's my pen. So again, if you are joining in a little bit late, or this is your first live stream, guys, these are all questions that students submitted at brianmclogan.com/Q&A. So I go live every Sunday night at 9 p.m. So if you'd like to join in or post a question into me, then you can go over and check out that link and submit your question, and I'll be more than happy to do the best I can to answer it. But I don't get to every single question, and I only go answer questions every Sunday night. So therefore, if you have a more immediate question or I don't get to your question, then you can also go to my Discord link, which is a pinned message in the, which is pinned in the chat. It's also in the description of this live stream that you guys can go ahead and check out to go ahead in there. And I've definitely signed up for there. If you have any help or need any help with pre-calculus, I do have my course in the description as well that you guys can go ahead and check out. It is a paid course, but I also have a Get Ready for Pre-Calculus, which is a free course. Just depends on whatever your needs are for this year. And then last but not least is if you would like a free opportunity to get free tutoring with me, then go ahead and comment, not in the live chat, but after this live stream is over with, go ahead and do a hashtag math help. And therefore next live stream, next week, I'll go ahead and select a winner. All right, let's get on with it. Done. Okay. The first problem says a box contains 2 red marbles, 2 green marbles, and 2 yellow marbles. Carol takes 2 marbles from the box at random. Then Claudia takes two of the remaining marbles at random. And then Cheryl takes 2 marbles. What is the probability that Cheryl gets 2 marbles of the same color? Well, basically, so, I mean, there's a couple different ways we can look at this. One way we would look at this is just by saying, all right, let's say she picks out a marble, right? it doesn't matter what the color is. She's already picked out one. Now, it doesn't really matter what order, really. It really doesn't matter who picks out what. So let's say that Cheryl starts first, right? It doesn't really matter. Let's say she picks one. It doesn't matter what color it is. What is the probability that the next one is going to be that same color, right? Well, that's going to be 1/5, right? Because there's only one other marble she can get, right? Because there's 2 of each color. And if she's already taken one out, then there'd only be 5 remaining, which would be 1/5. So that'd be the answer is C. You could also do it this way, but it's a little bit more math, I think. So you could say, 2 or not. Yeah, I don't want to do it that way. That's just confusing. I would just say if, you already picked one, right? So doesn't matter. Like there's no probability. You just pick one. They're asking like, what's the second one? And that's going to be 1/5. So I'd just go from there. Question number 4. A daredevil jumps off the CN Tower and falls freely for several seconds before releasing his parachute. His height y in meters at x seconds after jumping can be modeled by y equals negative 4.9 x squared plus x plus 360 before he's released his parachute, and y equals negative 4x plus 142 after he released his parachute. How long after the jump did the daredevil release his parachute? So y represents the height, right? And then obviously we have a different model for how fast he is or how fast he's going based on the seconds, which represents x. So what we're going to want to do is we want to say like, if he's flying without a parachute and then he's flying with the parachute, we want to find like what was the moment, right? How long did it actually attend when he got his parachute? So we want to know that what was the seconds where they are equal to one another, because when they're equal to one another, that's when the parachute was released. So what you're going to do is we're going to say, all right, so negative 4.9 x squared plus x plus 360 equals a negative 4x plus 142. Okay, and now basically what we need to do is just go ahead and set this equal to 0 to go ahead and solve. So I'll add a 4x and I'll subtract a 142. And then subtract a 142. All right, so I have a negative 4.9 x squared plus 5x, and let's see, that's going to be a 218, right? Yes, 218 equals 0. Okay, so again, we need to solve for x. We need to figure out what is the time, how long did it take for it to, before he releases parachute? Well, I guess I could try to look into factor in this, but I could also just say, well, let's just go and use the quadratic formula. So remember the quadratic formula is opposite of b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a, right? So we have x equals opposite b, negative 5, plus or minus square root of 5 squared minus 4 times negative 4.9 b squared minus 4 times a times c, jeez, all over 2 times a, negative 4.9. Okay, so let's go and see what we get here. I'm gonna have to do some work here on my calculator, handy dandy. All right, so let's see what we get here. So we have a 25, and then let's see, negative 4 times 4.9 times 218. Oh, crap. Negative 4.9 times 218. Oh, come on. All right, I'm just going to do it this way because it's going to be positive. So 4. Oh, that's minus 4 times a times c. Oh, that'd be a plus. Idiot. Okay, 4 times 4.9 times 218. All right, and then we're going to add that to a 25. Okay, so I get 47,000, 25, and then this is going to be a negative 9.8. All right, so then if I go ahead and take the square root of 47,025, right, I divide, so that's going to be a 216. Now, here's where things kind of get a little interesting, okay? So I have a -5 plus or minus. Let's see, this is a 216.852. Now, again, I'm going to be rounding, all right? But I kind of want to make a point here, -8. What I want to do here is I actually don't want the positive version, because if I add this, if I take a positive divided by a negative, that's going to give me a negative answer. Well, it doesn't make sense for time to be negative, right? So what we're going to do, the only answer that's going to work, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of running out of this backwards. The only answer that's going to work is going to be the negative version. So even though this is plus or minus, and actually I don't want to, I gotta like put up here. Okay, but the only answer is going to work is going to be a -5 minus a 216.852 divided by -9.8. Okay, so I have a -5 minus that answer. I'm not going to use the rounded answer in the calculator. I was just doing it for that. And then divide by -9.8. And unless I didn't do any calculations wrong, guys, I'm getting a 22.63. And that is what? Seconds. Okay, and hopefully if I didn't do anything wrong, then let me know and I got this. I don't teach any online classes, but I do teach pre-calculus, which does have group tutoring. And on that, you can check the information in the description. All right. So Albert, thank you for asking a question. So wait, can you re-explain why are they equal to each other? So again, you got to think like y represents the height, right? So we want the heights to be equal to each other. So the question is, we're trying to solve for x. So, I mean, just think of like, and I didn't really do justice here on this tower, but let's just pretend here. All right, here you are on the tower, right? So let's say like, here's you jump, right? And let's just pretend like your jump looks like this, okay? So you're in the quadratic form. And then, right, that's the y version, right? Now, at this point y, then what happens is you kind of do like a free fall, right? So now that becomes there. So this is the linear, right? And then you can kind of say there, that's the quadratic. Now, what happens when we convert from quadratic to linear? What is happening at this y value, right? Well, what's happening is that's when they release the parachute, right? When we transfer from quadratic to linear, that's when everything is changing. So that's why we want to set them equal to each other, is because we want to find when they're going to be equal to each other, that is going to find that value y. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully this visualization kind of helps, but that's where the parachute's going to go. And again, you can see the other answer over here, which is the negative, which would make no sense. And yes, because as Pranav says, we're trying to figure out our time, right? So that's what we're trying to solve for is x. So we want to set the y, which represents the height, equal to that. And yes, road to 1 million. I am feeling much better. I was feeling a little tired earlier, just dealing with kids, of course, but nothing like last week. Thank you for reaching out, though. All right, this student was asking, when I'm doing a ratio question, I found that you showed me how I was doing. I get an 18. All right, when I was doing a ratio question, I followed all that you showed me, and I was wondering, how do I get a 18? What is that doing? There you go. Okay. 18 as the answer. Please tell me. Okay, so you can go ahead and watch the video. It's actually one of my videos, and I just remember it's an old geometry problem. So if you want to see, actually, I didn't pull it up. I wanted to look at it, but it was it was when I was teaching geometry, so it was from a while ago. But what it said is like there's a ratio of sides of 361, a ratio of angles, which is 361. Okay. And then the student was saying like, yeah, well, how do you get the 18 as the answer? Okay. So a couple things to notice. If we have a triangle, now again, we don't know what this triangle looks like, but all we can say is that the triangle has 3 sides, right? Obviously. Now these sides don't look like, these angles don't look like, I'm sorry, triangle has 3 sides. It also has 3 angles. Now the angles are not proportional to each other, or they're not equal to one another, but they are proportional. Or they are proportional in this 361. So if we say like, here's one, like if we say this is one angle, then we say this angle is 3 times as big. And then this angle is 6 times as big, right? Whatever this angle is twice as big, right? If that's 3, then that one's 6. So you can see that kind of relationship. Now, again, my point is let's just give a random number. So let's say this was 10 degrees. Well, if this is 10 degrees, well, this would be 3 times as big, right? Which would be 30 degrees, right? And then this one would be 60 degrees. Now, what is the problem with these being those angles? The problem is they don't add up to 180. We know all the angles in a triangle adds up to 180. So we just can't randomly guess, right? We just don't want to pick random numbers. What we want to do is say, all right, well, we can take this ratio and say, well, I don't know what this measure, all I know is these proportion of these angles adds up to 180, right? So what I'm going to do is that's where I get this equation 3x plus 6x plus x equals 180. Okay, and again, what does x equal? You know, x equals the angle. X equals the or at least one of the angle, this base angle from there. So now what I can go and do is just go ahead and set up an equation or combine like terms and solve. So I get a 10x equals 180. This is where I get a 10. And I don't remember what the original question was, and that's where I got my 18. So x equals 18. Now maybe I should have done a little bit better job. X equals 18. My other answer, 3x, right, is going to be 36, that's going to be what, 54? And then 6x, right, which is going to be 54 times 2 would be 108. Now, again, do all of these add up to 180? I'm sure they do, but let's just go ahead and double check. That'd be 150, that'd be 152 and 60, 70, and now my brain hurts. That's not adding up. Oh, 102, 108. 180. Oh, yes, got it. There you go. Yeah, Chrissy, don't worry about it. I always look out for all those things. So it's whenever you can, it's good for this. All right, find the equation of the quadratic function given the graph. So there's a couple different ways, but the main thing I like to do for a problem like this is if I see the vertex, well, this is really important because if you know the vertex, then we can write it in vertex form. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So it looks like the vertex is that these are by ones, right? So the vertex is at -1, 2. So that's going to be your h and that's your k. So I have y equals a times x minus -1 squared plus 2. Okay. So we found the h and the k. Now the cool thing is I can pick either one of these points. It doesn't matter. But let's pick this point. 1, -2. So that is another x and a y, right? So we can plug that in for our x and y. So I can say -2 equals a times x. Let's see, that's going to be +1 squared. Why don't I write x plus 1? What is x? X is 1, right? So it's a 1 plus 1 squared plus 2. Okay, so now in this case, what we can do is just go ahead and simplify and solve for a. So I can say a -2 equals a. 1 plus 1 is 2, so that becomes a 4 plus 2. So let's subtract a 2, subtract a 2. -4 equals a times 4. Divide by 4, divide by 4. A is equal to -1. And voila, now that's a equals -1, but that is not the answer. The question was find the equation. So we got to use h and k and then a. So my final answer is y equals a -1 times a, oops, I'm sorry, x plus 1 squared plus 2. Voila. All right, I think we only got, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And then I'll get to any other questions you guys have in the chat for me. All right. So next one, student says, what are the steps to solve this equation? So I have a 5n squared plus 35. Okay, so this is a quadratic, but there's only one variable, right? There's only one n. So what I can use is just use my inverse operations to solve. So I'll subtract a 35 on both sides. And basically what I want to do now is isolate my n, get the n by itself. So -35 divided by 5 equals a -7. And then now what I can do is I can take the square root of both sides. And then n is equal plus or minus I square root of 7. And square root of 7 is, 2.6457513 approximately, keeps on going. But you can you can just leave it from there because it is imaginary. I wouldn't use the decimal approximation, but you could always add that in there if you want. And if you guys didn't catch that, that would be 2.642 178 2.64 2.643 1782. Crap, I forgot. All right. I used to have that memorized, but I can't remember. 2.642178. I think that should be it. Thank you so much for a super chat. Super chat. Are you a teacher or you just teach on YouTube? I was a teacher for 14 years inside the classroom, but now I have turned my bedroom into my classroom and I just teach online for right now. Yes, probably that's the very fast way of just saying it. Just subtract 35 and divide. But you do see you get the imaginary solution, which is kind of important to go through. And thank you so much, Christy, for the super chat. How do you process math so fast when you tutor? I do look at the questions at least ahead of time to make sure, because I've got myself stuck way too many times doing a live stream and be like, I'm just totally blanking out. But yeah, and I think a lot of it comes with practice, going through, seeing a lot of questions. Sometimes you get used to things and seeing the same patterns and everything. But yeah, my brain definitely hurts. You can see sometimes I'm not even going to mess around. I'm just going to use a calculator, guys. My brain hurts. All right. And then here, Tate, if you want to go and submit a question, you can definitely go and submit it into the chat. Maybe have some time after I'm done with these questions to go over any additional questions you guys have. So any of these questions, guys, I'm almost done. Then I'll go and get to some of your guys' questions in on the chat. All right, the next one says, for each triangle, state which side is the hypotenuse, the adjacent, and the opposite. So that's all. So these questions, guys, are all going to be relative to the angle that you're referring to. So in this case, here's my angle. Here's the right angle. Now, the cool thing about knowing this is the hypotenuse is always where the right angle points to. So there is your hypotenuse. Now, between your hypotenuse and, between your angle and between the right angle and your angle is the adjacent side. Okay, always between the right angle and your angle is the adjacent, and then over here would be the opposite. So let's do it again. Hypotenuse, adjacent, right? See how that adjacent's right between there, and then this would be the opposite. Let's do one more. That's your hypotenuse. This is your adjacent, and then this would be opposite. Done. Next question is find the angle, write sine theta, cosine theta, and tangent theta as fractions. So remember sine is going to be, I'm not going to go through all these, but I guess is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent. Okay, so you're going to need to know those. And again, it's all based on the angles, right? All based on this angle here. So again, we know this is the opposite, right? So I'm going to do one for each one. So sine here is going to be my opposite, which is 3, over my hypotenuse, which is 5. So then I have, again, my angle here. Let's do cosine. So cosine is going to be adjacent. Well, again, that's going to be between my right angle and my angle. So that's going to be 12 over my hypotenuse, which is 13. And then this last one is tangent. So again, here's my angle. Here's my hypotenuse. And then you could say, well, that's your adjacent. So this is your opposite, right? So I could say tangent of theta is going to be a 15 over 8. All right. Last question here is find angle theta of find the angle theta of, remember you're talking about how your brain, my brain is checking out. Find the angle theta of, so here's this. Okay, so what we need to recognize is which trigonometric relationship should we have based on what we have. So in this case, you can see we have the hypotenuse, and it looks like we have the opposite side, right? Because the adjacent is blank. So you could say, which trigonometric relation deals with opposite and hypotenuse? And you could say, oh, that's sine. So I could say the sine of theta equals 8 over 10. Okay. Then to go ahead and undo sine, what you're going to need to do is use the sine inverse. So I'd say theta equals, actually, let's just do this. I'll show it this way. So if I want to undo sine, what I can do is I can take the sine inverse of both sides. So by taking the sine inverse of sine of theta, and if I take the sine inverse on both sides, what happens, guys, is I'm left with theta equals the sine inverse of 8 over 10. And you could reduce that, or you could leave it like that. Make sure your angle, it doesn't say, but I'm going to put this in degrees. So then I'll just do the sine inverse of 8 divided by 10. And that's going to be theta equals, I didn't check my mode, but I'm pretty sure this is in degrees. Yeah, it is. So that's going to be in 53 degrees. Okay. So here you can see, what do I have? I have the opposite and the adjacent. So what are we looking for in this one? Which one's opposite and adjacent? That's tangent, right? So what I can say, actually, hopefully you can say, all right, well, I can say the tangent of theta is 6 over 2. So if I want to find theta, you could take the tangent inverse of both sides, but I say tangent inverse is equal to 6 over 2 is which 3, right? So I don't know, let's see what that is. Tangent inverse of 3, and that's going to be 71 degrees. Oh, sorry. Well, it's related. I'm rounding this, so I'll truncate in that one. That's 72 degrees. I don't even know what that one was. 53.1, yeah. So I'm just rounding them to the nearest whole. So understand that. And this last one, you guys can say that is a tangent, or this is a adjacent and hypotenuse. So I could say cosine of theta equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So theta equals, cosine, there was one more, crap. So cosine inverse is going to be a 1/4. Cosine inverse of 1 divided by 4. And that's again, and then a 76 degrees. I'll round that to the nearest whole. So anyways, guys, if you have any questions, I don't know how many questions I'm going to be able to get to on this. I'll maybe go stay after for a little bit, answer your guys' questions. But I'm probably not going to do any math. My brain is already starting to hurt. But if you guys do have any more questions you'd like me to answer for my next live stream, you could definitely go and check at Brian McLogan, brianmclogan.com/Q&A, or you can definitely go and check out the Discord link. Oh, crap. I have 2 more questions I got to get to. Crap. All right. So I was I was chatty in the beginning, talking too much. Chitty chatty, which I was trying to say. All right. Let's go into them. So, and this one I have, so this student was trying to find like the standard form with K. Okay. So standard form of the ellipse. So the first thing you need to do whenever you're doing with an ellipse and you have multiples x and y's is group the x's and the y's together. So that's a 256x plus a 9y squared plus 342y, and then I'm just going to leave k because I don't know what k is. But we haven't set equal to 0, so we're good. Now I can factor out a 4, and that's going to leave me with a x squared minus what, a 64x plus factor out the 9 y squared, and then 342 divided by 9 is the 38. So that'd be a plus a 38y, and then plus k. All right, so now what I need to do is complete the square, right? So I'm going to take my b divided by 2 and square it. So let's see here. I get a 4 times a x squared minus 64x. Then we're going to take 64 divided by 2, which is 32, and then square that. And I'm going to add that to be 1,024 plus a 9 times y squared, and then I'm going to take a 38 divided by 2, and then square that as well, and that's going to give me a 361. Okay, and then plus k, which again I still don't know, and then equals. Now I added some numbers on the right hand side, so what I need to do is add them back to, or I'm sorry, I added numbers on the left hand side, so now I need to add them back on the right hand side. So I'm going to add a 4 times a 1,024. And then I'm also going to add a 9 times a 361. Now again, why am I multiplying them by 4 and 9? Because I didn't add a 1,024 here. I added 1,024 that was multiplied by 4. Over here, I didn't really add a 361. I added a 361 that's being multiplied by 9. So you can kind of see what's happening there. Now I'm going to complete the square. I'm sorry, I'm going to factor that down to a binomial squared, which would be, what, x minus 32 squared plus a 9. And then this could be, what, y plus a 19 squared plus k. And then let's just figure out what this is going to be. So 4 times 1024 plus a 9 times 361. That's not what I got before. Oh, 9 times 361. I knew that was something that seemed off from there. Yeah, 4096. I wanted to check on that one. 3249 plus 4096. There you go. Equals 7,345. And voila. Well, thank you, XPYRO88. I'm so happy to be able to help you out. Appreciate it. And yes, I'm almost there. And yes, I am. Good. All right, last question we have, at least math questions, and then I'll stand for a little bit from on there for you guys. So in this one, it says solve f of x equals 0 over the interval 0 to 2 pi. And so we have a question. So basically all we're simply going to do is we're going to replace f of x with 0. And then we have 2 cosine squared of x plus a square root of 3 cosine of x. Okay. So what I can do is, since it's set equal to 0, I can go ahead and factor this, and I can factor out a cosine of x. So by factoring out a cosine of x, I'm going to be left with a 2 cosine of x plus a square root of 3. Now I can use the zero product property. So I have a cosine of x equals 0. And then over here, I have a 2 cosine of x plus square root of 3 is equal to 0. Now using my inverse operations, I can set this equal to cosine of x is equal to a negative square root of 3 over 2. All right. Now we got to go to our unit circle, which is going to represent our solutions between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so we're looking at for what angles makes cosine of what angle is when x is equal to 0. Well, when x is equal to 0, that's going to be up here and here, right? So the only two angles between 0 and 2 pi, got to go in the positive direction, guys, is going to be pi halves, and that's pi halves, and then this angle right here, which is going to be 3 pi over 2. And then when is x equal to a negative square root of 3 over 2? Well, negative, if cosine's negative, then it's going to be over here and over here. And negative, these two angles are going to be in terms of pi over 6. So that would be a 5 pi over 6 and a 7 pi over 6. And again, this is just knowing your unit circle from there. So therefore, we can put them all in one list. So it'd be a pi halves, 3 pi halves, a 5 pi over 6, and a 7 pi over 6. And voila. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are going to be your 4 solutions. All right. Whoa, God, a lot of questions you guys got. There was another question. I'll go and still take a look and see if it's at something. Oh, I can't believe I left that up there. I do have one more question that I will answer with you, or I'll at least check on, because a student did ask me prior to, like, hey, could you go and check it out? And I'm like, all right, I will. But for those of you that are still on the stream, that you're like, oh, maybe we didn't get to my question, or you're posting in there, just remember, guys, after the stream is over with, if you would like to enter in to get a free tutor with me, you can just type in hashtag math help. And then next week on my live stream, I will go ahead and do a drawing to select one person to get a free tutoring session with myself. But again, make sure you guys do that on the comment section, not in the live chat, which is right in here. And no, Lewis, the best way I'm not going to be doing any more math questions, guys, that are posted on there. If you want to go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A, that'd be the best place, or go ahead and check out the Discord server. But my brain's actually kind of already fried. I do apologize. Sometimes that does happen at the end of the night where I am just math depleted. But I did tell one student I would look at their question to see if it's something that I could go ahead and do. And it looks like more people answered questions, so I'm not sure who that person was. But let's see if they put their name. I don't see if they put their name. Let's see if I can find that student. I'll take a little time from here. I didn't add from there. That was kind of bad. I should have posted that. Yeah. Maybe I'll be able to get to it. I don't know. I'm trying to see. They asked me to do a question, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and take a look at it." But then I'm seeing I already have a whole bunch of questions already ready for next week, and then I do not see the student. I don't remember them. They just said they just submitted one where I'll be able to do it. But I have like 7 questions, which I'm not going to be able to get to. So I apologize, but I did say I would go and look at it, which I did do, at least from there. All right, well, let's see what else you guys got from here. So I'm not going to go over any math questions, guys, but again, if you do have a math question, go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. It's also in the chat. You guys can go and check it out there. Or definitely, I just recommend go to the Discord server, which is like the best place to be going to anyways, for getting some math help. And then also, yeah, and then after this live stream is over with, which is going to be rather short, if you would like to get a chance to enter into some free tutoring, then just go and type in #mathhelp, and then we'll get a winner next week. Well, thank you very much, Blurp. I appreciate that. And y'all, teacher, thank you. Raymond, are you still a teacher? Well, I think I'm a teacher at heart, but I am not I guess an official teacher inside of the classroom would be, I guess, the best way to put it. And well, hello, Nathan. Nathan, you got? Oh, actually, I don't know, where is that? I worded that weird. Oh, I didn't see what your name. Would the mid-segment slope be the same as the base? I see what you're saying. Yes, if it is the mid-segment, they should have the same slope. And Lewis, you do get noticed from there, but yes, I'm not going to be able to get to any more questions. I apologize for that. Print enough. Yeah, man, just know that first quadrant. That's all you need. The first quadrant. Just know the first quadrant. You can do this. I know you can do it. First quadrant, right? Do the little hand trick, you know. I know there's tons of videos on there. Just know that hand trick. You can do this. Excuse me. Sorry about that. What are they? Can you see more of the student? Yeah, I'll be able to get to that right now. I was actually thinking, I'm like, oh, I'll like plug in my phone. I'll like go and, do a little thing. But then I kind of ruined my room because I got everything ready for a studio. Well, I was moving things around, and then of course I just started throwing things around. So it doesn't look that great at the moment. There's really nothing to do. But what I will do is once I get this stuff picked up, and I got some things I got to move around as well. What I will do is then I'll show you guys the rest of it. I mean, it's nothing. Literally, it's just some more bookshelves over here. I do actually have a white wall over here, which I will be doing some videos on. So you guys will see that as well. So it'll be come up. Oh, well, derive it. Well, I mean, that takes a little more thinking, but it's just the deriving of the unit circle is, I mean, it's just the 30, 60, 90 relationship. So I definitely have a lot of videos on that if you haven't seen any of those. But, yeah, it's just going back to the special right triangles. That's all it is. And the unit circle is just a memory tool. That's really all that is. So, that's where it just kind of comes in. It's like knowing synthetic division. It just helps you do things a little bit faster. And that's really the only purpose. No, I was not at Walmart. So I get a mess on TikTok. Yes, I do got to pick up my TikTok game, for on that. Definitely. What is the best advice to do well in pre-calc? Take my pre-calculus course. No, I'm just joking. I think the main thing is, it doesn't matter if it's for pre-calc or for anything, guys. It's do the work that's required. get help when you need it, right? Put in there. I mean, obviously pre-calculus, like, I mean, it really kind of boils down to those two things. I mean, put in the practice, prepare for your tests, like, and get help when you need to ask questions. Like, don't feel embarrassed and everything else when you struggle. Like, that's a normal part of the learning process. But, but yeah, I mean, it's the same thing in pre-calculus and, you know, for any real course, you know, from on there. So, but I think with pre-calculus, you know, the main thing is you really got to know that, you know, pre-calculus is also where you have to make sure you really focus in on the algebra 2, right? And you have to start doing a lot more different types of problems rather than just like, oh, the teacher just wants us to know this concept. Like, no, that's not good enough in pre-calculus. You got to go a little bit above it. Okay, if you have questions, just please post them in. That's a very broad topic, you're right, to teach in a second. So, I would definitely explain trigonometry. Yeah, that's it's the if you have a specific question, go and let me know from that. And yes, I definitely recommend Khan Academy. I think Khan Academy is great as far as like the practices, the resources, everything else for you. How do you master finding the inverse of matrices? I don't remember. It's been a really long time since I taught inverses of matrices from there. So I just want to let you know. Here you go. Well, thank you very much. And Rofina, if you do not follow me on there's my nice little family, but we actually have an addition on our family now. And I'll let you guys even know I never got a Letterman jacket, but I never showed my letter from in there. I was like cleaning out some stuff and I was like, oh, let's go ahead and find that from there. But Rafina, yes, I also do post a lot on Instagram as well, like some personal pictures and stuff like that. So if you have Instagram, you can follow me on there. There's probably better pictures than me just going like this, but there are some things. But yes, I do need to show some as more as well. Well, thank you very much, Steven. Happy to be able to help you out. Yeah, it was a joke. I had to. It was like too easy. It was low-hanging fruit. But no, I think I just love it. It was so fun. I make myself laugh. But I think that and actually I would say it's the same thing, but the Boogie is actually putting in a great comment, which I mentioned, but it is. But I wouldn't say like and this is you're like spot on with this, right? Pre-calculus is much different because compared to other math, you have to remember previous concepts, which is exactly correct, right? However, the fact of like being successful in pre-calculus is like making sure you're doing the work. Like if you're going to be successful in any math course, you got to put in the work. You got to practice, right? And then also like when you get stuck, what happens in a lot of times is like you can get by maybe in other courses, but like in pre-calculus, like you got to get questions. You got to get that help that you absolutely need. And that's true for like any really in the math course. And yes, pre-calculus does have a lot more differences in compared to other math courses. Like you can't fake it, as you mentioned. Like if you don't understand something previously, you got to make sure you get the help that you need for on that. So I agree 100% with your point for on there. But I don't think the main, I don't think there's anything special, I would say, as far as getting better at pre-calculus, unless we're getting into like the concepts for you compared to a different course. Thank you. You're very welcome. I am 5'9". No, I cannot. Ken, what you want to do is set up a triangle. So what is the value of sine of A at the value of tan? So tangent is 4/3. That means opposite over adjacent is 4 and 3. That means the hypotenuse would be 5 because that's a special right triangle, right? So then the sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which would be 4/5. Yes. So I do have a whiteboard. Actually, I will maybe show you another time. You'll see, but to the right, I do have a little whiteboard that I'll be doing some teaching from in there. And then I think I'm going to actually have a chalkboard behind me. I'm going a little old school from there. Pre-calculus surgery. I wish I opted out of another math course instead of trying to be smart. Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. And that's exactly what to the previous comment said. Like, when you get into pre-calculus, the toughest thing about pre-calculus is not. I don't really think it's as much as about pre-calculus is the fact that you have to remember all these different concepts, right? And so what I will help you with, and I made a joke about my pre-calculus course, but I think one thing that might help you out as well is my getting ready for pre-calculus course, which is absolutely free. It's not a cost. I would definitely, that is actually in the description as well. I would check that out because that will help you, if you maybe struggle in algebra 2 or didn't learn what you need to learn in algebra 2 or geometry, that will help you kind of go through some of the content to help refresh your brain to prepare you for the pre-calculus concepts. I know the school year's already started. I know like that might be too much to handle right now because you probably have so many other things going on, but it is something that's available to you if you want, for a cost or for free. Obviously I do have my pre-calculus course, but again, that's a lot of material. And I don't think even, I don't want to feel like you are going to be overwhelmed as well. I think the main thing is at this point, you want to make sure you're getting the help that you exactly need on those particular areas and getting the extra practice for where you need. So I'm not even sure even actually if my course would be a great point for you at this moment, since it all kind of depends on where you're at and what you need. But yeah, those are definitely some things to, consider and look into. And you are very welcome. And Robbie, I am live. I've been watching your videos. Wow, well, so happy to have you on. Thank you. Am I right to focus on Calc 1? Yes, I would definitely. Am I right to focus? Yeah, what? After a 5-year break, am I right to focus on Calc 1 more than Calc 2? I think it just really depends on, I would just go through both of them, to be honest with you. And you're just going to want to make sure that, you have the fundamentals from Calc 1, but then also, the build up from Calc 2. So, I would definitely just go from there. Well, welcome, Miles. Why do you guys keep on showing up so late? I got to go to bed too. Yes, Lewis, almost there. Thank you. So do you have a method to memorize concept for pre-calculus? I do well in homework and practice, but keep missing on my quizzes. Yeah, it's practice a lot. So, like I have a lot of concepts that I have in pre-calculus. I give my students like a lot of problems to practice over and over. Every test and every quiz, every homework, I give them practice prep quizzes. Because, when you're getting into calculus or anything else, like the more examples, the more problems you can do, the better prepared you are going to be for the homework or for the quizzes and tests. So I would just recommend getting some more problems. So that's like why my course is that's why, like as a teacher, and again, kind of to the other student's point is like pre-calc is a little different. Like I don't have this same thing like when I taught algebra 2 and geometry. It wasn't the same type of like practice. But for pre-calculus and calculus, that is something that I did more of or expected more of my students to practice prepare because, what you can do is you feel like you understand something and then you go to the test or the quiz and you're like, what the heck? I don't know how he asked me this question. And that comes to getting your experience of working through the problems, which is a very, very important skill to kind of learn. And really, we kind of introduce that a lot at pre-calculus or within the pre-calculus curriculum. So that's where I think doing a lot of extra practice problems that you can from different sources will help prepare you to do better on those assessments. And thank you, Pun. What's your favorite unit in pre-calculus? Analytic trigonometry, which should be identities. I'd say I love teaching and doing identities. Yeah, I'd agree. I don't like binomial theorem at all either. I think it's really boring and kind of just annoying to actually be doing. Is pre-algebra similar to pre-calculus? Yes, totally different. I mean, they're basically kind of courses again to like prepare you for the next course, but yeah, completely different as far as concepts go. In transformation form. Well, so if it's in vertex form, I believe you mean. So what you need to do is expand it out and simplify it so it's in a standard form, and then you'd have to factor it. So I didn't write it. Yeah. So what you need to do in transformation form, which I call the vertex form, you'd have to expand the binomial simplify, combine like terms, and then factor it. I think they're math analysis. I think they're pretty close. I think the math analysis I see a lot is in the Canadian school system. And from what I've seen from other students is that it has a lot of correlations to pre-calculus. And hey, Naruto. Do you ever dislike those people that go to tutoring services? No, because I think everybody, not everybody watches my videos or gets help from me, right? Some people will watch other people on YouTube and, that's how they understand math, right? I teach how I want to, how I taught, how it makes sense to me, right? And that resonates with a lot of people. But for other people, they're like, I don't understand anything that you teach. You're annoying, you're boring, you don't make sense, you're confusing, right? So they watch somebody else. And I think with tutoring services, that's going to be the exact same thing. Sometimes those, Kuman, whatever, they work for people and they don't work for other people. So I think it just is really just finding the right mix of how, finding the right mix that helps you understand the material, and whatever that is works for me. Advice on Calc BC is do as many practice, once you can start taking the practice exams, take as many practice exams. That's what I was mentioning pre-calculus, guys. The more problems that you can expose yourself to practicing, the better I think prepared you are going to be for those AP exams. I am 37 years old. You are very welcome. I don't have any book recommendations, unfortunately. I don't have any book recommendations. I don't know. I don't follow enough math textbooks to kind of recommend any of them. And you're very welcome, Giselle. What made you want to be a major in mathematics? I think just because I enjoyed it. I wanted to be a teacher because I like helping people, I like connecting with people, like talking, learning. And math was really just the only subject, even though I didn't excel at mathematics in high school. It was just the one subject that actually intrigued me the most. So that's why. Read the textbook. I don't know. My brain hurts, so I'm not doing any math from on there. I can't even read the whole thing from on there. I'm not even going to read all of it on my brain hurts. Caleb, why do you love math? I don't know. It's interesting. I think I like the puzzle format of math, kind of figuring things out. And also just, I love that the connection of different elements that the main thing is, I always compared it when I was teaching piano or when I played in the band, when you only know so much music, you can only play so much, or when you only know how to play an instrument, you can only play so much music, right? But once you get better and you have more experience, you could be a part of a band or an orchestra, or you can just, play solo, but you can play really great music that that's popular or that you're familiar with, or great musical composition. But before that, you're just playing the basic Mary Had a Little Lamb, very easy stuff, right? And mathematics is kind of the same thing. When you only know so much mathematics, you can only understand at a certain level. But the more that we build up these skills, these boring skills that we focus on in high school, but once we start building up this, right, this knowledge and these skills, what happens is we start to see how this starts being applied all over the place. And that's the sad truth that so many students never get to see, because I didn't really see it until I was in college, right? I mean, yeah, math is boring. Math is I related to learning math to practicing music. I used to play the trombone and it was boring. I just practiced, my my etudes, and I was, practicing scales, and that's boring stuff. You want to play music, right? But, you had to build up that skill set. So therefore you could be a part of, the orchestra and the symphonic band, and, to play the great pieces. Well, mathematics is the same thing, right? Through high school, you don't really get to do great math problems. You have to make up these nice, weird math problems, right? To kind of make them make sense. But then once you learn enough, in college, once I got to being a math major, then I realized, holy crap, I don't know anything about math. But what I do know is amazing, because I can see how it's being related to so much we know around in the world. And so that's one thing I really, really liked about it. Current algebra, how hard is pre-calculus? It's all different. It's all different. You know, and I think a lot depends on your school and your teacher and stuff like that. But you know, basically pre-calculus goes back through a lot of algebra 2 stuff. We expand on it a little bit more as well. And then, but then we get into trig, which some students struggle with and some students love. So it really kind of depends. It's a little bit different from students. Which method is better for studying? Doing questions over and over or reread the topic and understand the logic? Well, I mean, if you don't understand the question, I mean, if you don't know how to do the question, you're just doing them over and over, I wouldn't say that's a great, I would make sure you understand it better rather than just practicing. Because if you're just doing things and you don't know what you're doing, then eventually you're going to forget. And then you're going to, when you have to actually apply it, you're not going to remember. Eventually it'll happen. I don't have time, but if you want to go from that, you guys can, or later. Oh, you guys always give me questions at the end. All right. I'll try to do my best here, you guys get to caught up. All right. Everybody says, during the island school last year, I was really struggling. My teacher didn't know how to teach, but you really helped me out. I passed because of you. Well, thank you. Well, you're very welcome, Orby. I'm so happy. Which one of your favorite all kind? I like the ellipse. I don't know why. I just like the ellipse. Awesome, Gab. Good luck. Thank you so much. Yes, it is getting harder typically. I mean, you got to keep on putting in the work. Thoughts on ACT exams? I don't like them. I mean, I do like them. I like the fact that we can get some broad data that's not dependent on what school you went to, what teacher you had, and you know all those other kind of things that can impact students' education and learning and test scores. But I also don't like that in the same respect, ACT and SATs can be gamed. I mean, you can buy, I mean, you look online, like there's people are saying, oh, I'll get you a perfect score. And like, I mean, so you can, and what does it tell you about the student? You know, I mean, I don't think it's a great assessment of how strong of a student you can be or how successful. I mean, obviously there's already some data, like, you know, as far as how you'll do in college, but I don't think it's same kind of thing. Like, you know, it's not an end all be all test. So, you know, and a lot of people make a lot of money off it. And that's just kind of something that plays into it. So I'm not a great fan of, that's why I don't do a lot of SAT, ACT prep, but I do know a lot of students, you know, want help with that. So there's some things I will be producing as well. My goal is to keep on making more math videos. So yes, I hope to get to there. Make sure you know exponential. That would be the first step. Understanding the relationship between exponential and logarithmic is a good, easy way to kind of step into that. My birthday is in January. Unfortunately, I'm on like famous birthdays or whatever else like that. So, most of that information is available now. So yeah, I'm in January. So I'm an Aquarius late January. Should I join touring classes or should I mean, I think it all depends. I mean, everybody has different needs, right? I think sometimes some people, you know, you guys are on YouTube, right? Because YouTube is free and you guys can help. Some people have a private tutor every night or every week. You know, it's just different. It depends on what you need. Some people can just watch some videos and you're good to go. You know, like for instance, my pre-calculus course. I've been recording myself teaching pre-calculus for the last like 5 years. So nobody needs to buy a pre-calculus course. All the content that you could possibly need is available from me free, right? But some people don't want that. Some people want that guided walking through the course, my tests, my quizzes, my homework, my answers, my work, my notes, right? Some people want that and they want to pay for that. So like it all depends on what you need and where you're at. So I wouldn't say that one is better than the other. It just depends. Yes, and I like that art of problem solving. Those are really good. They're also, I mean, but again, it all depends. Like those are very like advanced as well too. So like if just kind of depends on where you're at. I would look into those and kind of see where they're at. But yeah, the art of problem solving books are really good as far as moving on up. Good question. Well, again, a lot of the foundation of stuff that you're taking in different courses is going to be dependent on the mathematical knowledge. Also math, a lot of the math courses have a lot of the a lot of the thinking, the process, kind of like science, the way to kind of make arguments and think through things is going to be found in a lot of the math courses. And then also I think there's just a general still desire to teaching some of the fundamentals of understanding mathematics, and that, just because you're going to college for a certain degree doesn't, we still have like electives of like you learning different things that's not in your major, right? And it's a lot of things that, people always come to me like, oh, why are we going to learn this? And I'm like, well, why are you learning anything in that you're going into high school, right? You're not like, we're not just teaching you to like, oh, I want to be a plumber, and then you're just like by ninth grade, you're just doing plumbing stuff, right? We want you to be well-rounded. We want you to understand different aspects, because as you grow up, as you learn, as you get your degree, your interests, your needs change, right? I've been a licensed realtor for the last 9 years actually. So I've been a licensed realtor for the last 9 years. I never thought I was going to be a realtor. Like I never thought I was going to need any of those characteristics, from a realtor, but it changed. Like after college, I didn't know I wanted to be a realtor. It wasn't like for years later. But, and obviously having a good, strong math background helped me out, right? But there was other skills that I had to build off of. But it was really helpful to know certain things that I did learn in college to be prepared for some of those different transitions. All right. Oh, geez. But yeah, there's a lot more. I know it's also a tough, and not to kind of push all mathematics that everybody should take, it is, not everybody needs to take all the mathematics from there. Yes, the study of change. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know. Well, my family's in bed right now, so I'll be meeting with them. Very much true. Very well. If you want to post a comment, I'll be able to get to them. My brain hurts though, so I'm done doing some math. I'm just trying to catch in. I definitely did not get a PhD in math, but I did go to Western Michigan University. Well, you are very welcome, Sal. I can definitely feel you, Priscilla. Awesome. See, there you go. Got an A online. Awesome. You are very welcome. It all depends. All depends on your major, where you're going, and what you're trying to do. I didn't have to take Calc 3 in my curriculum, so I only went up to Calc 1 and 2 from on there. So I think it just kind of depends on what major you're going for, and then your university you're at and stuff like that. Well, thank you very much. I haven't looked into it, so I do not know. All right, guys, I am tired, but forget it. Looks like you are just from there. Yeah, you should go to Western. Hopefully it's Western Michigan University. I don't know, but yeah, go for it. Well, awesome, Tony. Good for you. Yes, it is way past my bedtime, guys. I'm 37. I'm old. I got to go to bed. But yeah, I wake up at 4:30 every day. So 4:30 a.m. time to wake up, guys. And hopefully you guys have a great week. Go from there. And I will see you guys next week. All right, guys. Cheers.